All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the August 23rd edition of the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. We are thrilled today to have a guest speaker, Wright, who's going to talk to us about ChatGPT for job search success. All right. Please note that this event is being recorded. Yes, we finally figured out how to upload the recording. So everything since Jeff's departure has been uploaded to the YouTube channel at Career USA, YouTube. And just by being here, you consent that you are being recorded. Speaking of Jeff, just a quick history for those of you that may be new today. This has been his group since 2007. And 2008, he created careerdfw.org. If you're not familiar, we'll chat about that more later. In 2012, he launched careerusa.org for those outside the DFW area. He wrote a great book. I have a copy. Check it out. And since 2017, he's been a member of the PIC group, which we'll also talk about later. Since Jeff was injured, Walt Glass and myself have offered to chip in and volunteer to run the group to keep it going. I heard, played cards with Walt Glass last week, so he is getting better. And if you would, please keep him in your prayers. All right. As usual, the agenda: success stories, our introductions, career tip of the week, interview success workshop, pit crew, and the main event. Rusty. First, success stories. Do we have any landers? Ta-da! Kim, come on up.
Thank you, Matt. I'm going to put you in front of this laptop.
Oh,
Right here. Got it. People online can see you and me.
Hi, good morning, everybody. This is Kim Jones. I'm a director of product marketing, and I started my job search journey 15 months ago. So I've been 15 months in this painful process, but at least I can say I'm a professional job seeker now, except I'm not paid for it. I want to give a big shout out to everyone in this group, starting with Jeff Morris, and my prayers are with him constantly. He really has been a tremendous resource, not only when he was actively giving the presentations, but with the resources that he has built online. And thanks to Matt and to Walt for taking it over. And Walt has been also a tremendous resource from his interviewing point of view. Really has a lot of very valuable information I took to heart and learned a lot. I once did a practice interview with Walt from a hotel room when I was traveling across country and really made a mess of it. I said about an and an just about every other word for 30 minutes and really embarrassed myself, but I learned a lot. And I wish I had time to do that again. I hope I won't have the opportunity to do that again, but if I do have to, I certainly will. And thanks to Ron Layton as well, that runs the pit crew team, also a very valuable resource. I was 15 months into this process, but I never gave up, even though I felt extremely frustrated many times. And I just want to tell people that eventually you'll be standing here one day to celebrate the fact that you've landed a position. And I just want to share some of the best practices, mistakes that I made, so that you guys won't make the same mistakes and kind of learn from them.
Please.
So the first thing I did, which wasn't a mistake actually, was to take some time off. I took maybe 2 or 3 months off and sort of repositioned myself, thinking about what I want to do. I'm a technical product marketing leader in the telecoms and cloud communication space with a lot of experience in marketing in general. And I felt like I was a general marketer and I didn't focus enough on what I should have been focusing on. I was too widespread. Lesson learned number one was do what you know how to do and focus on that. And so when I was preparing a resume, I had 2 resumes, one for general marketing, one for kind of product marketing. And it didn't help that I was kind of focusing in two different areas, if you will. So I think the key message there is know what you want. I wanted to stay, I needed to stay in the industry I was in, and that has helped a lot. And so lesson number 2 is network, network, network. So I spent a lot of time, I spent endless hours brushing up my resume. Oh boy, did I ever have, you know, version 9, version 99, version 101, and eventually learn from these good folk here that you need to have a master resume with 5 pages, 10 pages, 15 pages. Mine is actually over 20 pages because every single bullet, achievement bullet that I learned to write for each position, I've written in about 10 different ways, depending on the job description and the keywords that I need to have. So maybe that's overkill, but it kind of worked for me. And so after you overkill your resume and you brush up your LinkedIn profile, all of these are hygiene points, if you will. I learned that really it wasn't about that. It was all about networking and speaking to people that I knew in companies and asking them for information about where opportunities may exist. And this leads into persistence, lesson number 3, if you will. I first approached a company that I have now landed a position with a year ago, and they advertised a role on LinkedIn. I applied for it. I spent a lot of time focusing on it to the exclusion of everything else. So that's a mistake. Don't focus on one job. The interview process can take a month or 2 months sometimes. So that's time wasted if you don't put some more eggs in your basket. I didn't get that position, but I strengthened my networking contacts with that company. There were 2 individuals in that company that I knew from a previous position. So network with the people that know you, know how good you are, and just stay in touch and open up your Rolodex and call and talk and just, whether it's 5 minutes, just say hello, introduce on LinkedIn again, reconnect. Eventually, 12 months later, I was called by both of those individuals, one of which was now the CTO of the company, and said, are you still looking for a position? Are you interested in this one? And I looked at the role and I said, well, not only yeah, but heck yeah. They didn't post it. They didn't advertise it. I still don't have a job description. But through speaking with those 2 people and then with 9 other people at that company, so it wasn't exactly a shoe-in. I did have to go through a semi-formal interview process. Eventually, they decided that, yes, indeed, I did have the chops. But more importantly, I had the recommendation of the CTO and another leader in the marketing department. So that's so crucial, y'all. That's something that you really need to work on, is the strength of networking. And finally, just never give up. I mean, if you get a no, it's just another no, but there'll always be a yes sooner or later. I don't think 15 months is particularly long. It felt to me like an eternity. I don't really want to go through this again, but I'm much better prepared after coming to a group like this with the things I've learned to go through it again. And I think what I will do, number 1, is make sure I keep on networking, keep those contacts going, not just at the company I'm going to land at, but across the industry, so that should I be in a position like this again, it'll only be a few short months before perhaps, you know, I can land another similar position. So
Networking for life.
Absolutely. Network all the time.
Congratulations. And yeah, that'll work. And thank you for the donuts. Sorry for the folks online. All right. Any other landers? Anybody online? All right. Now it's time for some introductions. We have got a crowd today, probably 40 introductions to get through. So for those of you online, please, as usual, put your name, city, LinkedIn, email, phone, etc. in the chat. For those of you in the room, here's your cheat sheet. Please come up and grab the microphone and tell us who you are, what you're looking for, how you can help. where you need contacts and where you can provide contacts. And like I said, we have about 40 to get through. So try and keep it, what?
Be brief.
Yeah, be brief.
Okay, pretty easy.
No, no music. All right. Kosh, you're up.
Hi, my name is Kosh. Director of Data Analytics. I help provide solutions turning data into dollars. Thank you for that. Being that right, I need contacts at, right now, there's one company I need a contact, if anybody knows, but nobody knows their company called Begin Learning. I'm very interested in that company. And I have contacts at Thomson Reuters, so that's where I used to work last.
Very good.
Kosh.
All right. Thank you. All right. If I could get everybody to stand up and form a line so we can get through this a little quicker, that'd be great. Dan?
Should we get a breather?
We appreciate you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jama Ball. I'm looking for a VP Director of Operations, specifically in service delivery or product implementation. I'm a seasoned global operations executive who focuses on elevating the customer experience through service delivery and product implementation. I need contacts at American Airlines and also at Rippling. I have contacts in the hospitality business, at the Federation of State Medical Boards. My name is Jama Ball.
Thank you, Jim.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Armagan Shah. I go by Army. I am an IT professional focused towards vulnerability management, cybersecurity. I'm looking for a lead IT position, possibly in GM Financial, Capital One, or T-Mobile. And I have contacts at AT&T if somebody still wants to take a bet on that, and at Fidelity and Vizient. So if somebody's looking for healthcare, I could be around. Thank you.
Thanks, Army.
Morning, y'all. My name is Aaron Light. I'm looking for a role as an outdoor adventure guide, taking people on active travel, biking, hiking, kayaking, trips like that. I can help with contacts at aerospace defense companies like Lockheed Martin or Northrop Grumman. And my name is Aaron Light.
Hello, everybody online and everybody in the room. I'm Peter Watson. My label's fallen off. Sorry for that. I'm a services delivery or project manager in technical. I've been in telecom a lot, and I don't have specific target companies this week. I do have contacts at Tempest Telecom, Verizon, and Ericsson, and my name is Peter Watson.
Thank you, Peter.
My name is Tyler Bauer. I'm looking for a business analyst role. I help create processes that drive efficiency. I need contacts at Capco. I have contacts at Capgemini. My name is Tyler Bauer.
Thank you, Tyler.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anthony Archery. I'm a senior retail managed operationist. I help company grow sales, drive profit at the same time, reduce cost. Anthony Archery.
Any targets, Anthony?
Real system.
Okay. Spence.
Good morning. Joseph Spencer. Most people call me Spence. I'm a Chief Information Officer, helping propel organizational as well as digital transformation through the organization to prepare for the future. My target organization I'm looking at is Unify Vision Partners. They are a optical clinic throughout the United States. I can help in the healthcare industry, specifically with Wise Health or medical HCA. Hospital Care of America. And also the vendors that support healthcare organizations, so I can help in those areas. Thank you.
Thank you, Spence.
Hi, good morning. First time here.
Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Florence Bordelot, and I'm looking for a VP of FP&A role. What I do, so I specialize in setting up FP&A functions in mid-size, maybe PE-backed companies, preferably in the healthcare industry. I need contacts in the healthcare industry, maybe some PE companies. And I have contact in the healthcare industry and in the hospitality industry as well. And my name is Florence Bordelot, and this is not a Texan accent.
We needed variety. Thank you for coming.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Libby Carlson. I'm looking for a Vice President of Revenue Strategy or Revenue Management. I am a seasoned hotel revenue strategist. I know how to deal with all aspects of running a hotel. I have a ton of contacts at pretty much every brand and every hotel company in this country. I have no target contacts yet because people are reaching out to me, which kind of boosts the ego. But my name is Libby Carlson.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jenny Tsao. I am looking for positions in the VP of marketing space. My history has primarily been in ad tech and media. However, my last 5 years has been focused on B2B SaaS. So specifically more in line with demand gen marketing. So I have specific contacts at Nielsen, which is where I spent like 19 years of my career. But that past 5 years, again, in the DFW space with some SaaS-based companies. My name again is Jenny Tsao.
All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is William McLaughlin, currently seeking a data analyst role. I do the research necessary in order to help companies improve their bottom line. Currently needing contacts at Dave & Buster's and the Container Store. Again, my name is William McLaughlin.
Thank you, William. Anyone else in the room? All right. Well,
Okay, Patty, since you have to leave early, you can go first today.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Patty Bashi. I'm looking for account director, senior customer success manager, or business development role. I help companies build their relationships with their clients as well as grow the top line sales. I need contacts at Ipsos, Mintel, and Sago, and I have contacts at Nielsen. My name is Patty Bashi.
Thank you, Patty. Patty's going to be with the Jump Father, if you know who that is today, and talk about Crystal Nose and Pat Goodway today. So have fun, Patty. Steve Rowan.
Hi, my name is Steve Rowan. I'm used to be a .NET developer, but I've retired. I still like coming to these meetings. So my name is Steve Rowan.
How many years have you been a participant in this group? Do you know? It's been a long time.
Oh, I don't know. At least 10 years, probably.
Well, you hold the record. Thank you very much for participating with the group, Steve. Alkeisha, come on, Alkeisha.
Good morning, Walt. Good morning, everyone. Alkeisha Rodriguez. I'm looking for a technical implementation project manager role, or the title changes depending on the organization, but that's okay. I translate the technical into tangible to make it profitable while maintaining humanity in the midst of expanding technology. I can provide contacts at Verizon, but I'm taking classes, so I don't need contacts right now. My name is Alkeisha Rodriguez.
went to get coffee.
Okay, we'll move on. Carla?
Yes, my name is Carla Phillips. I am an operationally CFO looking for a CFO position in a private equity-backed company in a service-oriented industry. I don't currently need contacts anywhere. I do have a large network, and I'm happy to make introductions as it makes sense. Thanks.
Thanks, Carla. Natalie?
Good morning. I am Vitaly Platonov. I'm looking for position of supply chain manager, mostly in automotive. I do international and domestic transportation of completed vehicles and parts. I make sure the goods delivered to the destination, whatever happens around. I need contacts at Peterbilt, Packard, and Volvo Group currently. I have contacts at Toyota North America and Hyundai Motor America. My name is Vitaly Platonov. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Stephen?
Morning, everybody. I'm Stephen Sulkin out of Frisco, Texas. I'm a director of process improvement. I help people work together better as an organizational psychologist and Six Sigma black belt. I'm currently targeting Pacific Dental Services, and I can help with contacts at Baylor Scott & White. I am Steve Sulkin.
Thank you, Stephen. Carlos? Carlos, are you with Brian?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, sorry. Good morning, everybody. My name is Carlos Marane. I'm looking for a position on digital transformation, service management, or IT operations. I'm currently in Florida, live in Texas for more than 10 years. I'm looking to go back to Texas. So my expertise is spanning pharmaceutical and healthcare and retail. So this is what I'm looking for now. Thank you.
Now, I don't know if I'll say this right. Ehai?
Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Okay, sorry. Good afternoon, everybody, or good morning, sorry. My name is Ehi Lambert Eichenbarry, based in Mansfield, Texas. I have contacts at Goldman Sachs and Hilton. Currently, I'm looking for contacts at Zurich North America Real Estate Development. My name is Ehi Lambert Eichenbarry. Thank you.
I got it now. I got the Lambert part.
Lambert is easy, not a problem at all. Anytime.
Okay, ETN.
Excuse me. Good morning, everyone. Name's Etienne Joseph. I'm a campus recruiting manager. I have campus recruiting experience in manufacturing, healthcare, consumer products, and technologies industries. I help companies build their early career talent pipelines to improve their diversity and bench strength across all of their functions. I developed and implemented a strategy which led to a 30% increase in female hires for a leadership development program. I am looking for contacts at Wells Fargo, AT&T, and Jacobs Engineering, and I have contacts at Workday, Intuit, and IBM. My name is Etienne Joseph.
Sir. Graciela.
Good morning. My name is Graciela Custer. I am seeking a digital content manager position. I help with strategic planning, which has contributed to timely communication and hyper-organization. I have contacts with elected officials, campaign staff, and political candidates, and target companies, National Review Institute, Ethics and Public Policy Foundation, and Center for American Liberty. My name is Graciela Custer. I'll put my info in the chat.
Thank you, Ms. Graciela. James Andre.
Hello, everybody. My name's Joe Andre. I just joined. I'm a senior project program manager in Chicagoland area. I'm not currently looking. I'm just here to listen to the speaker talk about the use of AI.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We got another James Sinkovic. Is that right?
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, my name is Jim Sinkovic. I am a corporate HR guy in charge of total rewards. My job is to optimize the company's employee value proposition with the budgetary dollars that are made available. I would love to get a contact at Toyota. My prior employer was Vizient. I heard somebody else mention Vizient, but I didn't catch that person's name. So I can help at Vizient or anybody else in my networks. Again, my name is Jim Sinkovic.
John. Gorman.
Coffee.
Good morning. This is John Gorman. Background is in finance, risk management, looking for those types of roles and project management roles, and working on my target companies right now. So, John Gorman, thank you.
Thank you, John. Julie.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Julie McAllister. I am a VP of Learning and Development, and I have extensive experience in training, learning, development, leadership development, anything under that L&D umbrella. I also have an operations background. I am seeking a VP, director, or head of role, and if there's anything I can do to help you, I would certainly love to try. I need contacts at Airbnb or VRBO, and I'm in the Austin area as mentioned. So if you are interested in connecting with an Austin company, there's a chance that I know someone and can make that introduction for you. Again, my name is Julie McAllister.
Julie. Kelly.
Good morning. My name is Kelly McLean. My professional experience is in the learning and development space. I'm looking forward to Rusty's AI presentation and ideas for job search. My name is Kelly McLean.
He's a popular guy.
Thank you. Kevin.
Hi, my name is Kevin Capel. I'm an experienced software quality assurance engineer, lead and manager. Looking for remote nationwide employment or on-site in Rochester, New York area. As a leader, I'm driven by curiosity and passion for quality, and I quickly provide information on the quality of your software for informed release decisions. I'm looking for contacts at 10X Health System, at Accruent, and Apex Systems. I have a variety of contacts, but probably some of my best ones are at Blue Tie, which probably not hiring right now. Career Corporation, I'm sorry, Carrier. Wow, can't talk this morning. And Excelis Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Thank you much. Meg.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Meg Matthews. My background is in HR, and I'm looking for positions such as an HR generalist or business partner role. Currently, I'm looking, my target company is CBRE, if I can get a contact if possible. My name is Meg Matthews.
Thanks, Meg. Leslie?
Hi, my name is Leslie Radford. I'm in Richland Hills and I'm a seasoned content manager with over 7 years of experience. I'm seeking a position, preferably remote, with a small to medium marketing agency or company where I can leverage my marketing expertise. I'm looking for contacts at HubSpot or SEMrush. Feel free to contact me on LinkedIn to see if I have anyone I can connect you with. Leslie Radford.
Thanks, Leslie. Miguel?
Hi, Miguel Castillo, based in South Lake. I'm a finance executive with multilingual and experience in Europe, Latin America, and the US. worked in the airlines for over 20 years, and then Amazon lastly, and have contacts in at American Airlines and Amazon, and seeking a VP finance or director finance, depending on size of company in the DFW Metroplex. My target companies would be AT&T, Toyota, Stryker. Miguel Castillo. Thank you.
Mita.
Hi, my name is Meeta Shabagat. My background is in healthcare as well as in leadership development. I am looking for roles in human potential areas in companies like Deloitte or in healthcare organizations. I have contacts in United Healthcare or T-Mobile.
Thank you. Nicole.
Good morning. My name is Nicole Parks, and I have a passion for developing consumer products and also collaborating across the enterprise to create integrated 360 marketing campaigns. I am looking for a head of role, director role, or VP role. Similar to Julie, I believe, but in the marketing space, either in product development or brand marketing. And I have contacts at Mary Kay, and I'm excited to hear my former colleague Rusty Wright speak today.
He's here. Penn.
Sorry, I'm not there in person. I seem to have blown out my Achilles and having a problem walking. So someone told me it's the advantages of becoming old. Anyways, my name is Penn Hoyt. I'm a director of marketing specializing in the B2B area, concentrating in lead gen and demand gen. I put together the sales journey for contacts and leads, going from lead to marketing qualified to sales qualified to an actual sale. Worked very closely with the sales group. I have a second interview coming up with a company called Appfolio. If anyone knows someone there, I can talk to them a little bit more about the company. I have contacts in a variety of industries. I'm more than willing to help with anybody in their search. And again, my name is Penn Hoyt. Thank you.
Thanks, Penn. Richard.
Oh, hello. My name is Richard Dixon. I'm a Chief Strategy Officer spearheading innovative strategies resulting in 275% enterprise-wide revenue increase. I have contacts in senior living with Brookdale and various ones and can help you with those. And I'm looking for contacts at Medically Home or Contessa. My name is Richard Dixon.
Thank you, Richard. Rob.
Good morning, Rob Perks. I'm a technology sales leader. I'm looking for a CRO roles or CRO, SVP sales, or VP sales. I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia, and I have contacts at Ericsson and CSG International. I'm happy to help.
Thanks, Rob. Rosina.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Rosina Gallman, and I'm your Career Tip of the Week host, and I'll be talking to you in just a few minutes. I am currently looking for a senior talent acquisition consultant position, otherwise known as a senior recruiter, where I help companies find the right talent to fill their open roles. I currently need contacts in Delta Dental, MetLife, and Cigna. And then I also heard someone say they have contacts in Goldman Sachs. That's been one of my previous companies trying to find a contact into. So if someone could reach out and share with me a contact, that would be great. Also, I'm open to any industry. I've worked in management consulting for the last 9 years. And so I'm open to any all possibilities. So feel free to share anything you want with me. And I have contacts across a variety of companies where if I hear anybody, if I hear any of the other companies that I have contacts in, I'll reach out directly. Again, my name is Rosina Gallman, Senior Talent Acquisition Consultant.
Thank you, Rosina. See you in a few minutes. Scott.
Good morning, everybody. Scott Boudreau, Certified Planning Inventory Management. Looking for a supply chain job, specializing in inventory control or production planning. If there's a part number, I will manage it. If it doesn't, I'll create one. Scott Boudreau.
Thank you, Scott. Tracy. Oh, Tracy.
Coffee.
Vincent.
We're running a little behind, so if everyone could keep your intros to 10 seconds or less, thank you.
Okay, good morning. I'm Vincent Battles, Senior Manager of Talent Development. I partner with key stakeholders to create strategies to attract, develop, and retain emerging and mid-level leaders to succeed. I have experience in talent acquisition, focus on early career or university recruiting, some people call it. I've worked in small organizations as well as large corporations, American Airlines, Southwest Airlines, and the gamut. I am Vincent Battles. As far as the locations or organizations, if there's anyone who has contacts at Uplift Education, I'm definitely interested in those type of organization and education, that is. As far as contacts I have many. So just to let me know, I can somehow find someone in that organization because I have talent acquisition experience. Again, Vincent Battles.
Thanks, Vincent. Matt.
Hi, Matt Keelan. Yes, I'm in the same boat you guys are. I'm an IT VP or director. I'm looking for a contact at Hart Hanks, Harte, Hanks. And I can help you with Cherry Becker or Grant Thornton. My name is Matt Keelan.
I'll say, Drew, you've joined us.
Hello, everybody. I'm Drew Puckett, and I'm a marketing analytics manager seeking that or business intelligence data type position. I have contacts at Intel and can help you there. And I'm currently seeking contacts at Proofpoint. I'm Drew Puckett.
Thank you, Drew. Did I miss anyone? We got a new one in the room. How about anybody online? Did I miss anybody online? Okay.
All right. Thank you, Walt. Appreciate your help.
Come on up.
Yeah, you gotta go get a mic.
Okay. Okay. Hi, I'm Eloise Wright. I'm an award-winning writer-editor. I've done everything from missiles to makeup, from Northrop Grumman to Mary Kay. And I'm looking for writing and editing positions and an opportunity to use my connectedness and my woo, winning others over. And let's see. I'm looking for contacts at Samaritan's Purse is one of the companies, and West Fort Worth Management. They're a conservative Christian company. And let's see. If anybody is interested in checking out First Command Financial Services, they're in Fort Worth, and they it's an amazing company with a wonderful culture, and I have contacts. And they really love veterans because that's what their business is about, is helping veterans. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You got one more. Who else?
Hello, everyone. My name is Oyewole Talabi. I'm looking for job titles in mainly business development, sales, that type of role. I provide solutions mainly for businesses that are trying to grow, like I said, in business development and sales as well. My background has been in payment for the most part, payment processing, merchant acquiring, pricing, things of that nature. So I'm looking for roles
more like in that field as well, or within payments and fintechs. Again, my name is Oyi Talabi. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Now it's time for a career tip of the week. Rosina, if I could get you to give us the abridged version because we are running behind, I'd appreciate it.
Not a problem. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Again, my name is Rosina Gallman, and I'm your Career Tip of the Week host. This week's Career Tip of the Week is titled How to List Achievements on a Resume in 2024. There's 100+ examples in this particular guide, but then also included, I've added a link in this guide to 400+ additional resume examples that cover any job title, industry, or experience level. So you'll be able to see additional sample resumes that contain quantifiable results across those different titles. So basically, in this particular article for this week, this guide will help showcase your accomplishments on a resume to grab employers' attention. It highlights the differences between achievements, which are quantifiable results, versus responsibilities, which are daily tasks. So some of the key highlights are quantifying your achievements with numbers, percentages, and dollar amounts, also including your accomplishments in your work experience and professional summary sections on your resume or LinkedIn profiles. You want to also use the XYZ formula, which is you accomplished X by doing Y, which resulted in Z. So take a look at the guide, gives you lots of examples of how to write your bullets out that way. And then examples of quantifiable achievements include your increased revenue, improved efficiency, awards, things of that nature. Tips for finding achievements. You want to review your past performance reviews or request data directly from the employer, or you want to track your achievements during your current job, or if you're a student, you want to highlight your achievements, which include your GPA, competition wins, volunteer work, things of that nature. And then for further resources, this article again offers a link to 100+ achievement examples for various job titles. There's this author, her name is Gabriela Hernandez. She's with livecareer.com. They offer a resume builder tool that will also help you write your resume and include quantifiable achievement bullets. And then, as I had mentioned before, as an added bonus, there's a link in this guide to 400+ resume examples for more samples of quantifiable resumes to review by job title, industry, or experience level. So that's the abridged version. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. And I know we're all looking forward to Rusty's presentation today. So thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Rosina. I appreciate your help with that. All right. Walt.
The abridged version says, go look at my LinkedIn About section. And it tells you all about the Interview Success Workshop. It's a free, informal learning interview. If you agree that we as interviewers and companies are hiring who we are, what we do, and how we help, then this workshop is for you. Glad to have you participate. That QR code will start you an email and say, I'd like to register for the workshop. So on Tuesdays, 9 to 11 Central Time. I'm already into the middle of next month, so sign up now.
You want to talk about the pit crew?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and talk about the pit crew too. The pit crew is a formal panel interview. It's a mock interview. It's a great practice. I'm a panelist on that. Matt's also a panelist. There's a few people in the room that are panelists. I see James here. But this is a practice where you can, this is a mock interview. The panelist will prepare as if they are really hiring you. We'll do job research. We'll do company research. We'll look at resume. And I was supposed to interview somebody for a police recruit last Wednesday. And so I had to go figure out how to hire a police recruit. do a lot of research on that, for the City of Prosper. Anyway, we do that so that we can give you a real good practice. Ron Layton runs that group. The motto really is practice early, practice often. Do not wait. Do not wait to practice. You can learn two ways. You can practice, or you can learn it for real when you go to regular interviews. And we suggest practicing will shorten your job search. So that's what we're looking to do. So on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock, it's here at Christ United Methodist Church, except for next Wednesday is the fourth Wednesday of the month, and that will be online. So go to careerdfw.org, look at the calendar, look at Wednesday, get the link, and you can participate that way as well.
Thank you very much,
William.
I'm hearing that there's no openings until early October.
For the pit crew, we scheduled out. We do 3 a week, and he's scheduled out a while. So get on the list. And even if you go and say, yeah, put me on the cancellation list, because that occurs too. But yep, get on the list. It's getting busy.
Thank you all.
Participating.
Appreciate you.
So let me give you this last little thing.
We don't have to. Sorry,
In interviews, do we feel insecure? Do we have stress, anxiety, and fear? Well, come practice, gain skills, knowledge, and wisdom, so we can rejoin the employee kingdom. I am all class.
Thank you all. Always appreciate the poetry. All right. For those of you who want to stick around after, we're headed to Country Burger for lunch today. Great networking. Won't even talk to that. And now we're going to move on to, did you see that? Did you put that slide in? So our guest speaker today, Rusty Wright, is a seasoned global marketing executive. Rusty has built a broad international experience helping to create brand leadership in both mass and prestige consumer packaged goods. Over the past 25 years, Rusty has worked for some of the world's leading multinationals, including Unilever, Avon, Coty, and Mary Kay. He brings a thorough understanding of the global markets and international consumer, having lived and worked in 3 continents. He has managed some of the top designer, celebrity, and lifestyle brands in the beauty industry, including Calvin Klein, Nautica, Marc Jacobs, Vera Wang, and Jennifer Lopez. Additionally, he's helped to establish corporate cause-related partnerships with the American Diabetes Association, the International Diabetes Federation, and the Mary Kay Foundation. If you would, welcome Rusty Wright. There you go. You have amassed an audience of 77.
77, fantastic. Well, first of all, good morning, everyone. Thank you for making the journey here, whether you're online or in person. I appreciate it. I want to thank Walt and Matt for inviting me back. It's been actually 16 months since I originally presented one of my early generative AI presentations here at North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. And 16 months in AI terms is a lifetime. So there's a bit that has changed and evolved since the last time I was here. I've got a lot to cover in 90 minutes, or actually it's not going to be 90 minutes. It's going to be like 55 minutes now. So about 11:30. So what I would ask is that hold questions until the end, because hopefully I'm going to answer a lot of those as we go along. And if I get through everything, we'll try and have a little Q&A at the end. A little bit of background about me and the origin story of this presentation. You need to know, first of all, that I'm not a developer. I'm not a coding guru, or I'm not proficient in Python. I am by trade a global marketer. And I say that so that you know that everything you see here today, you're going to be able to go out and do at the end of this presentation. In fact, at the end, I'm going to give you a QR code where you're going to be able to download all of the prompts that I'm going to show you today, and you're going to be able to start using them immediately. Now, as a marketer, I've always been asked to kind of look into my crystal ball and try and project what are going to be the trends and the technologies that are shaping the way consumers are interacting with my company, with my brand, and with my product. And artificial intelligence was one of those trains that I could see coming down the track. And I knew it was going to be reshaping how I did my job, how my company was working. And as someone who manages a lot of young people, I knew it was going to be changing the way that they worked. So I began learning everything that I could about the technology at the time. So this is more than 2 years ago. Fast forward to November of 22, a little tool called ChatGPT launches. I was an early adopter, began figuring out how I could utilize it from a professional perspective, but also in job search. And along the way, I began training people in the workforce, from managers all the way up to C-suite. And over the last 18 months, have been privileged to train thousands of folks like yourself. So thank you for investing a little bit in upskilling and getting some new skills today. Today's agenda, I'm going to move quickly through. We're going to spend just a little bit of time talking about the evolution of AI and specifically LLMs, large language models. We're going to spend a little bit more time comparing some of the current platforms that are out there, because there are a lot of them, and it's important to understand which ones do what and which ones are better at certain things. You may decide at the end you can get away with one, but you also may decide you need a couple of arrows in your quiver. We're going to then get into prompt creation. This is how you're going to communicate with these language models. I'm going to show you what I think are some tips and secrets for doing this simply and effectively, but we're also going to dive into some specific examples and how you can actually use them in job search. And I hope you can start to think about how I can transition these into new skills for your new role. We'll spend a little bit of time talking about customization. How can we get these models to look, feel, and sound a little bit more like us versus the generic templates that are out there? Last but not least, if I have time, I'll give you a little preview into some of the more advanced features that are available through ChatGPT Plus. I like to start by asking folks to rate yourself. And if you're online and you feel comfortable, feel free to drop a number from 1 to 5 on where you are in your journey. If you're in the room, just kind of imagine where you are. I won't embarrass you by having to do that. I do this because I like to see sort of the transformation of how people are moving. When I was doing this 12 months ago, I was finding that most people in the room were a level 1 or level 2. They knew nothing, or they'd kind of heard about it, but they hadn't done much with it. These days, when I ask the question, I'm starting to see more level 3s, more level 4s even, where people are becoming regular users in integrating generative AI into their workflow. This is important. Right now, the research as of last spring was that about 23% of the American population had been using generative AI. Most of them were still using it for entertainment purposes, but that's starting to change. What's important is to understand that usage tends to drop significantly with age. So yes, we know college students are utilizing it to go out and write their term papers. Boy, I wish I had that back when I was in school. But we also know that when you get above a certain age, that usage starts to drop off. And let's be honest, people of a certain age tend to be in job search a little bit more. So it's important for us to be upskilling in this area. The other reason why it's important is up to 67% of global enterprise organizations are now incorporating some type of generative AI technology. With the rollout of Microsoft Copilot last November, that probably explains why that's starting to happen, but the wave is coming and it's good that you're preparing for it. So a couple of caveats before we get in. First of all, you need to know that your experience is probably going to be different than mine. In fact, the results you get might be a little bit different than what I show you today. These are iterative models that are continuing to learn. And so you need to anticipate that your experience is going to change a month from now, 3 months from now, a year from now. It's going to be a little bit different. The other thing, if you are in a job and you're on a company system, please consult with your corporate IT department to understand what their policy is. Don't want to get you in trouble. Don't want to put your company's data in any jeopardy. So when in question, make sure you check. So what is ChatGPT and how is it different? How's it different from any other AI? AI has been around longer than I have. In fact, chatbots have been around since 1963. First one came out from MIT. But there's something that's different about ChatGPT, and we can learn a little bit from the name. So chat is kind of self-explanatory. That's how we're interfacing with these models in the platform through a chatbot. But GPT is the difference. It stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. And so we'll break that down a little bit. Generative meaning that it can now generate brand new content that didn't exist before. That could be text, that can be images, that could be video, that could be music. It's continuing to evolve. Pre-trained has a couple of different meanings. First of all, it's been pre-trained on all of this vast amount of data that's out there. How much data? Well, ChatGPT 3.5, the free version, more than 300 billion artifacts it's been trained on. And some of the newer models are approaching close to 1 trillion. So it's a huge amount. But there's another part to the training, and that's humans are involved through a process called reinforced learning through human feedback. And that's where real life people like you and me give feedback to the models on when answers are good and when they're bad, kind of like classical conditioning. And the models start to learn what a good answer is versus a bad answer is before they ever come to us. The last letter is transformer. This is the technology that allows the system to kind of understand not just individual words, but the gestalt. It understands relationships within entire sentences, entire paragraphs, and it helps to generate coherent content for us going forward. Now, that content is not always accurate. In fact, it may generate incorrect information. Why is it doing this? Well, a couple of different reasons. First of all, it's been trained on the depth and the breadth of the internet. And we know the internet is perfect, right? There's nothing wrong on the internet, no bad information out there. So it has been trained on good information and sometimes occasionally bad information. The second reason is these models want to please you. And so if it goes out and it scrapes, but it's not able to find the information that it wants, it might make something up for you. This is called hallucinating, and it does happen. It can be hard to spot sometimes. So it's good to make sure that we are always double checking and validating the information that we get out. Secondly, it may occasionally produce harmful instructions or biased content. That's happening less these days. There were lots of stories in the early days about it telling users to divorce their spouse was cheating, and marry me, the chatbot. That's not happening so much these days, but you need to know that it exists. The one thing you should be aware of is that it has limited knowledge of the world after its training date. So in some cases, some of this training might be 3 or 4 years old, and so it might not be able to find information of something or an event that happened last week or last month. Now that is starting also to change because now the models have search engines that are built into them. So they're able to go out and scrape for more current content and then kind of use the brain of the underlying model to parse that information. How can you get ChatGPT? Well, there's a couple of different ways, and I'd actually recommend that you do it both ways. The first is you can visit chat.openai.com. It is on their server. You don't have to download anything. In fact, these days, I don't even think you need to register for an account to be able to utilize it. The second way is that you can download the app on your iPhone or onto Android. And why I recommend this is because it has a voice interface. And if you're someone who is like me, you're very active, I use this as a learning tool. So I run every day, I go out and I can ask it to teach me, put together a learning program for me, to teach it to me in step by step, and then to quiz me on that learning material one question at a time. So it's a powerful interface to be able to utilize that way. So which platform to use, right? I've been talking ChatGPT, but there's a gazillion of platforms that are out there these days, from Bard to Complexity to Claude 3. We're going to talk and look at some of the most popular ones. Part of the reason that I have focused on ChatGPT is if we look at the volume of traffic and market share, so to speak, ChatGPT is clearly been the leader thus far. But not only that, if you look at who's in number 2, that's Microsoft Bing. And you need to know that Microsoft is essentially utilizing the same underlying engine because of their relationship with OpenAI. And so those two combined clearly are dominant in the market. Google, of course, is a player out there. They started in February of last year, have had a little bit of struggle getting traction with their original tool, Bard, which was then replaced this year by a new, more robust tool called Gemini. At the very bottom is a little tool called Claude from the company Anthropic, a very powerful tool. We'll take a closer look at that in just a few moments. So as I mentioned, Claude is not. So Bing is, yes, exactly. Exactly. So these three, and we're going to cluster them into 2 different groups. These 3 here are all utilizing essentially the same engine under the hood. That's the GPT transformer from OpenAI. Taking a closer look on the left-hand side, we have the OG, original ChatGPT, the free version that's out there. Originally, everyone was using the model 3.5. But what happened in May of this year is OpenAI announced that they're going to let the free users actually leverage the latest model, which is 4.0. But here's the catch, is you get 10 prompts every 3 hours, maybe 4 hours, depending upon the volume that's out there. And after that time period, it's going to kick you back into that older model that's out there. Now, why is that important? Well, the new model has a training date up to December 2023. So the information that's in there is still relatively current. It's only about 9 months old at this point. But the older model was actually trained up only until September of 2021. And where are we? We're August now. So we're approaching the 3-year mark on that information. Now, one of the ways they're able to mitigate that is they built internet access into the tools. You used to not be able to get this about 12 months ago, but now there are search engines that are built in. And again, they can go pull more current content and then parse that utilizing the underlying model. Yes, they've got apps that are available for the free version. One of the important things to know is something called a token limit. So tokens are basically the amount of information that you can both put into the system and get back at one time. They're not exactly words. In fact, a token equals about 0.75 words. It's how they get broken up and sent to the transformer. So a token limit of about 4,000 is about 3,000 words maximum that you're ever going to be able to put in and get out at the same time. With the free version, you can now upload files. The last time I checked, it was a maximum of about 4 files you could put there. You can now even create images. They used to keep that only for the premium version. And for free users, you can even access the GPT store, which is a little bit like the App Store, where there are all of these GPTs that have been created for a very specific task, including lots of ones for job search that are out there. So why would I ever need GPT Plus here in the middle? Well, there's a couple things that make it different. First of all, its token limit is about twice the size, so there's more information that you can put in and get out of it. Significantly more files. They say it's a maximum of 10 and that each file can be about 50 megabytes. You can, of course, create images and get into that GPT store, but what you can also do is create custom GPTs. And for advanced users like myself, we utilize that a lot in job search. I've got GPTs that are completely trained on me, on my master 20-page resume that's out there, and they help me to navigate my job search very effectively. So now Microsoft Copilot. So again, they own 49% of OpenAI. Through that, they got the engine, so to speak, which they've incorporated into Bing. Their training date, if you ask them, it goes up to March 23, so a little bit old, over a year old. It's got that 8,000 tokens, so larger input and output. But one thing that's different that I get frustrated with Bing is in terms of uploading files, you can only upload images right now. So if you want to do data analysis, you want to upload a CSV file or a PDF, you can't really do that. You can create images, but you also are not going to get access to the GPT store or the ability to create GPTs. So now we're going to leave the world of OpenAI and we're going to jump to some of the other platforms. I'm just going to skip over this one real quick. The first two on here are from our friends at Google. As I mentioned, Bard launched originally, but has been replaced. If you look in red there, one of the reasons that Bard had some challenges was its token limit was only about 1,000. So less than 750 words that you could put in and get out. You were typically getting very short answers from Bard. You were able to create images, but then they phased that out as well. They moved to this middle tool here called Gemini, which has both a free and a paid version. Depending upon if you're paying, you're going to get the more premium model that's out there. Google doesn't tell us what their training date is. They like to say, hey, we're Google, we own the internet, we're getting all this data and we're constantly training our models. I wish I knew exactly what their cutoff was, just for my own validation, but that's their policy. They only have an Android app available, so if you're an iPhone user, you're kind of out of luck. But here's the great thing about the new Gemini system is if you are a subscriber, they're claiming their token limit is 1 million tokens, which means that you can essentially upload about 3 books worth of information to have it analyzed. For files, though, you can only upload images. You can't upload CSV files and do some of the things you can do with ChatGPT. And you used to be able to create images with Gemini, but when they launched that tool, it was creating a lot of really funky images that were not correct. And so they have suspended that feature. When I checked it 2 days ago, it was still suspended. One of the nice things, though, about Gemini and the Google platform is you can access Google Workspaces. So if you've got Gmail, if you've got docs and sheets that you're working with, you can work across the platform. It can pull information out of those and create new documents within that workspace. Last but not least, from Anthropic, a tool called Claude, which launched in June of last year, free and paid, multiple models that are lying underneath. It's got the most current training date of any of the major platforms right now. It's April 24, but here's the catch. It doesn't have internet access. So if you're looking for something that happened yesterday or last week, it doesn't have the ability to scan the net and augment its training data with that new information. It's got an app for Apple out there, a good token limit, 200,000 tokens is more than most of us will ever need. And you can upload all kinds of files as well, not just pictures. It doesn't have an image generator feature right now, so you can't create that image of a purple squirrel with a gold tooth riding a motorcycle up the Eiffel Tower. But if you don't need that, maybe it's okay. The one thing that's really cool is it has something called artifacts. And so all of these models allow users to generate code, even if you have no coding experience like yourself, like myself, I should say. So for an example, one of the things that Claude allows you to do is to write that code and then immediately see what that code looks like running in HTML and JavaScript. And so here's an example in 2 minutes. And remember, I have no coding experience. I created asteroids back from the 1970s or 80s, right? And I was able to go in and modify that. And very cool, I was able to actually see it as I was modifying the code. So that you can't do as easily with the other platforms. If you can't decide on what platform you want to utilize, there's one called maxai.me that essentially you pay a $12 subscription and it allows you to use the underlying engines for almost all of these major platforms. I don't think you have all of the features that you get, for instance, with the full version of ChatGPT, but you get the engine. So, Rusty, thank you for all this information on the platforms, but let's get to the good stuff. Let's get to prompting. Why is prompting important? Well, I'd ask you to think about ChatGPT as if it were a brand new intern coming into your company. And it's got an Ivy League education, a great brain. It's really anxious to do good work for you, but it doesn't know you. It doesn't know your brand. It doesn't know how you do business. And so you need to provide guardrails. Just as you wouldn't stick an intern in a room for 3 months and expect it to come back with a great project, you need to provide it with step-by-step guidance, and that's what prompting does. But it's not really that complicated. You use natural language to do this, and I'm going to give you what I think are 6 components that you need to include in crafting a good prompt. In order of importance, somewhat, they are task, context, exemplar, persona, format, and tone. And so we'll take a closer look at all of these. I'll let you get your photo. Okay, so task. This is the most important part. It is how we articulate what the end goal is, right? This is what we want the system to deliver for us. They typically start with action verbs like analyze, summarize, create, translate, simplify. Let's take a look at what one looks like as a basic building block in a prompt. Research 3 cookie recipes. So research is our action verb. So now ChatGPT is going to go out into those 350 billion artifacts that it's been trained on, and it's going to find 3 cookie recipes. But that's a lot for it to search, right? It could come back with a gazillion different things. Oreo cookies. It could be grandma's secret chocolate chip cookie recipes. Is that going to be what you want? It may be, or it may not be. So how do you guide it? That's with context. Context constrains those endless possibilities. So it's not going to go out to those 350 billion, but it's going to be a little bit more focused. It can actually be tricky to figure out how much context am I going to give it? Because remember, we have these token limits of the amount of information we can put in and get out, and we don't want to use all of them on the front end. So I ask myself some simple questions. For instance, have I given the model enough information on my background and what success looks like, or maybe what environment I'm in? So now let's add that into our building block. So in red, this is our context. I have a gluten allergy and I'm seeking a dessert that I can eat, right? I've told it what success is, a little bit about the background in, my background, and the environment. So that's been layered in. Next is exemplar. Exemplar is nothing more than a fancy name for examples. And AI works really well if you give it some examples. It gives it a framework to work within. So my suggestion is if you're thinking of examples as you're writing up your prompt, go ahead and include them in your prompt. You won't maybe need them for every prompt that you do, but it will help the system. So now let's look in gray here. I have a gluten allergy and I'm seeking a dessert that I can eat. Research 3 cookie recipes. Please include recipes by celebrity chefs, for example, Martha Stewart, Rachel Ray, etc. So it is now going to be seeking those gluten allergy specific ones. It's going to find 3 of them, and it's going to look for celebrity chefs. I would expect that we may see something from Martha Stewart, but now it also knows to look for people that are like Martha Stewart and start to include those in the outcome as well. Next is persona. So we can ask the model to behave and think in a very specific way. It's kind of like asking them to pretend and assume a role. It could be the role of a managing director for a large bank, or social media expert, or Steve Jobs. And you can imagine each of those people would probably have a different perspective or answer the question in a slightly different way. So here we go. In blue, I want you to act as a nutritionist, advising me on healthy eating and macronutritional information. So now the model's got to think like a nutritionist as it's looking at all this information and make its evaluation based on that. Format. People skip this all the time. They just take what ChatGPT gives them, which is mostly going to be paragraphs and bullet points. But if you stipulate, you can get all different kinds of formats out of ChatGPT, from headings and subheadings to code blocks to tables that you can export into Excel to citations. If you're writing a research paper and you need to write in APA or MLA format, footnote links, they're just a few. So think about that as to how you would like it to look as an output. Tone. This is the last one, and this is also overlooked. These are typically words that are adjectives or adverbs, and it's the language that the model is going to come back to us with. So you can imagine that if we asked someone to write a humorous email versus a professional email, the response we're going to get is going to be very different, and we're going to talk about how we use that in customization a little bit later. So tips for writing strong prompts: begin with the end in mind. Think about what you want that final output to look like, and then back into it and say, what information am I going to have to give the system to get me to the finish line? Use simple language. You don't have to speak Shakespearean English or anything. In fact, simple is really good. But the more specific you can be, the better your outcome is. You're going to want to avoid multiple questions. You can ask it to do multiple things in the prompt, but if you ask multiple questions, it may get confused about which question is actually the most important one for it to answer. Use examples and avoid leading questions. I mentioned earlier that these models want to please you. They are willing to follow you down an ideological path. So unless you want to sound like your crazy Uncle Rico, keep your language neutral, and it won't do that. Most importantly, test and iterate. Your first response that you might get might not be fantastic. You've got a little regenerate button that's right there, where in 15 seconds you can have a second answer to compare them to. And if you're not getting the answers you want, it might be time to go back and reevaluate your prompts. And maybe thinking in terms of, am I giving it enough information on the industry that I want to look at? Or maybe I need to provide it with a little bit of data from somewhere. Am I clear on my focus question, my topic, my theme? Have I given it the right constraints? Maybe it came back with a phone book of information, but really what I wanted was less than 75 words, and I need to tell it that constraint. Does it have the right structure? I wanted a table and it gave me bullet points. So going back and working on your format. Were you clear on key points? Did you provide it with original text? And did you provide it with clear editing instructions? So now that you've created a prompt, what's going to happen is they're automatically going to then appear on this left-hand side toolbar here. And a lot of folks like that because they can then go back and they can utilize prompts that they've maybe created before and not have to recreate the wheel each time. But for the folks that are out there that are concerned about privacy, they don't want any information out there with ChatGPT, you can, number one, clear all that information and also turn off the history so that it's not remembering it. If you don't have that enabled right now and you clear your chat, it may take a little bit of time for all of your old history to disappear, but OpenAI says that will happen within 30 days. You can also rename or delete prompts. Maybe you want to make them a little bit easier to remember. And so what you're going to do is just select that prompt on that left-hand side toolbar, and there are 3 little dots. And if you click that, it'll give you the option to share. So I could send it to Jema and have Jema take a look at it and see if she likes that prompt. I could rename it to make it easier to remember, or I could delete that individual prompt if I don't think that it's appropriate. Let's see what I'm doing here. All right, Russ. So how can this help me professionally? Well, whether you're in job search or whether you're working for a company, I think one of the things that most of us in the business world are doing is a bit of research. ChatGPT can actually help us with a lot of this preliminary work that we're doing. So in this first prompt we're going to look at today, I'm going to ask ChatGPT to act as a corporate researcher. So here's the prompt. I want you to act as a corporate researcher. That's persona. I'm telling it how I want it to act. Tell me about the company Mary Kay. That's task right there. For example, how many employees do they have? What is their vision and mission? Who is their CEO? What NAICS codes are they registered under, et cetera, et cetera. Exemplar. Those are the examples that I'm giving it. Provide the information in bullet points format. So in this first prompt, I've used 4 of those writing guidelines that I gave you earlier. So I chose Mary Kay because it's a company I worked for 8 years, and I wanted to see how good it would do in my fact checking. So for those in the room, I know this is too tiny for you to see, but know that, first of all, ChatGPT did a pretty good job of pulling all of the information it gave me in the bullet point format. It covered all of those areas that I asked for. And what is happening now is it's starting to cite the information. When I taught this course 6 months ago, it was not doing this with the free version. What you had to do was go back and do a lot of fact checking on your own. And again, because some of the training data was so old, the information was not relevant. But now, because we have the web search engines, the information tends to be clean. Not perfect, but cleaner. The other thing you can do is you can utilize ChatGPT to track a public company's historic growth and profit. So in this prompt, imagine you are a financial analyst persona. Search the annual reports for the following 3 companies: Amway, Natura, Herbalife. Analyze the reports for the years 2018 through 22. Extract information on net sales and calculate year-on-year growth. Organize the information for all companies in table format. So I said, don't give it multiple questions, but you can give it multiple tasks. So I'm asking it to search, analyze, extract, calculate, and organize in all of these. So if I had run this prompt prior to May of this year in the free version, I would have gotten this answer. I can't access real-time data or browse the internet, including annual reports, right? But now, since May, they've changed it. They've given everybody with the free version access to 10 free prompts. You're now going to be able to get this kind of information. And you may notice, gosh, that looks a little bit like an Excel table. You can actually copy and paste this information and drop it into Excel and manipulate data that you are generating that way. So a couple of queries. I know we've got some finance people in the room. So when you are dealing with numbers, some important things to understand about ChatGPT. First of all, if it is not giving you the sources, ask it what its sources are. And if it comes back with some response that says, as a general large language model, I'm trained on a lot of information, and this is in my general training, do not use that information. It is probably making stuff up at that point. Now, if it comes back and says, I've pulled these from the annual reports of Estee Lauder and L'Oreal and blah, 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 you are probably getting better information there. The second thing is if ChatGPT is guessing, it's not going to guess the same thing twice. And so you can click that little regenerate button and then compare the numbers that it gave you in answer 1 or answer 2 and see if they're the same or different. If they're the same, then it's probably pulling from a better source. If you are seeing that it is giving you numbers that all look sequentially the same and are ending in 0, 0, 0, and the relationship between those numbers keeps changing the same way, it is probably guessing for you again. So with numbers, use ChatGPT, but always validate what the source is and double check the numbers that it's giving you. One of the things that I love, especially for job search as I'm preparing, is it can help me do a SWOT. For those of you who've worked in strategy, SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. ChatGPT knows what that is. So in this very simple prompt, ChatGPT, please create a SWOT in tabular form for the company JCPenney's. So here it knew that I wanted that 2x2 format for that we classically see for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. But here's the next technique that I want to show you. Most people do what we call zero-sum prompting. They put one prompt in and they get one answer out. And what they don't utilize is the iterative breadth of these tools to be able to dig into a subject. So we're going to do something now called chain of thought prompting, which is where you take the original prompt and then you find something in that prompt to dive and explore a little bit further. So now I'm interviewing with JCPenney's. I see one of their weaknesses is that it struggles with declining sales and profitability. And so what you'll want to do is go back and dig into that more. You can do that with ChatGPT, or maybe you want to go and take a look at their 10K on your own. But it allows you to then explore and become an expert through chain of thought prompting. You can also extract data from online meetings, right? So we're in an online meeting right now. Everybody's dropping all of their details into the chat. So how can we automate that? So ChatGPT, please extract the following from the attached Zoom meeting chat. So when you get done with the Zoom chat, you go and you save the chat. It's going to be a text file. And then you give that to ChatGPT and ask it to extract the name, industry, LinkedIn profile address, email address, telephone number, and output it in tabular form. And it's going to give you something like that, which you can then copy and paste and put into all of your tracking documents. So for me, I do that at the end of the week. I'm in all of these meetings. I'm in 4 or 5 meetings a week, and I just give it all of my documents and have it aggregate all of my contact information. And it takes 30 seconds to do at this point. Some of us may be thinking about changing industries. Maybe we're working in IT and we want to go into consumer packaged goods, right? But we don't necessarily understand what are the trends for that area. ChatGPT can help us. So in this case, I want you to act as a clean energy consultant persona. Please identify 3 top trends in clean energy technology in the United States. Please cite your sources, do not hallucinate, and please put these in bullet point format. So again, I can start at the 25,000 foot level and I can get the trend information, right? So it's given me the 3 trends that I wanted to get. So now I can go in and dig with another prompt. In this case, expand on point number 3, which is about decentralized energy systems and microgrids. So please expand on point number 3, highlighting specific examples, including names of companies or organizations that are leading this trend and examples of the products or services that they provide. So now it can become a subject matter expert on their competition as well. Chain of thought prompting. Start at the 25,000 foot level, get your initial information, and then drill down, drill down, drill down from there. Now, the next concept is how can we get it to analyze 2 different resources and compare them? These could be 2 different policies that are out there. Maybe you're working in, audit or something like that, and you want to compare policies. In this case, we're going to use an example of a resume against a job description. So ChatGPT, I want you to act as a corporate talent recruiter. I'm going to give you a resume and job description, and I want you to compare and identify any synergy or gaps that could be explored. Do you understand? Now, here's something else that I did. I didn't give it all the information at one time. I said, I'm going to be giving you this. Do you understand? And that allows it to chunk up the information, going back to those tokens where I only have 4,000 tokens to give it. And if I gave it my huge resume and I gave it a huge job description on top of that, I'm using a lot of energy within the computer to do that. If I break it into something small like this, it's bite-sized pieces. So now I've given it the prompt, I've given it the resume and job description, and it's coming back and it's telling me alignments, but it's also telling me the gaps that I'm looking for. And now I can start to think about, oh my gosh, I need to be able to address these either verbally or on my resume in this process. And right now I'm sitting at the bottom with a job scan score of 39%. So this is probably not going to get past the ATS system. Well, step 2 is now doing some fine tuning. And I can go in with this next prompt, which is based on the job description, please identify the top 8 key headline words that I should include in my customized resume. List these in order of importance, right? And so now think about how people are scanning, right? You've got recruiters that are spending on average 7 seconds scanning an interview. They're looking at the top for your executive summary. They're looking at those keywords. They're going down the side to look at your history. You get those keywords lined up with the right keywords in the right order, you're going to make more of an impression. The next step, based on the job description, please suggest key experiences and achievements from my resume. So now it can go into your resume. I use that master resume that's 20 pages long, and I pull up those key ones that are the most important ones to utilize. Step 3 is now crafting that executive summary. And I say, based on the job description, my strengths and any gaps, how should I customize my professional summary in less than 60 words? So I give it that constraint, less than 60 words. Now, sometimes you might also want to include some additional instructions. In my case, I worked for some blue chip companies like Avon and Unilever that appear on the 2nd or 3rd page of my resume. So I can actually tell it, make sure that you highlight those things in my executive summary. So it's the first thing that people read instead of it getting lost on the last page. So what happened when I did that technique that I just showed you? I started off with the job scan score of 39. I was able to move the needle up to a 73% match. You might not get there every time, but it will help get you closer to the mark. So now we talk about the idea of giving it 2 different things to compare. Now let's give it those 2 things and get it to create something completely new. We're going to have it write a cover letter based on that job description and resume. So here again, I'm giving it the instructions. I'm telling it to be 275 words. Remember, folks, all of these are going to be in the template that I give you at the end, so don't worry if you miss any. Please utilize below resume to customize the job letter, and you're going to insert that information there. So now this comes back, and again, I know it's too small for you to read, but what you need to know is it's pretty good. I would not send this out as is, and this brings up a very important concept I want to teach you today, which is generative AI is great at crafting basic drafting information for you, but you need to be the final editor, right? You're no longer the copywriter, you're becoming the editor. So it's going to save you a lot of time on the front end, but you need to make sure things are perfect. So in my case, the job description said 10 years of experience. My resume said I had more than 20, but ChatGPT defaulted to the job description and said, Rusty has 10 years of experience for the CMO role. So that was wrong. So that's where you need to go in, you need to edit. Like a good chef, you need to be adding a little salt and pepper to personalize the flavor of it and make it sound a little bit more like yourself. Now, you may look at this and say, gosh, that's much too long. I'm never going to write a cover letter that's that long. You can simply ask it to shorten it by 50% or make it 100 words instead of 250 words. And it will do that, and it will retain the most important content for you. You might also say, I don't like the voice, tone, and style. That sounds too stuffy. That's not really me. You can ask it to be slightly more informal. And we're going to talk about customization in a minute. But again, most important part, double check for errors, tweak, and personalize. So a lot of folks have been very concerned about if everyone's using AI, then isn't everything going to start sounding the same? And you've heard these reports of people in HR getting all of these cover letters that sort of look like they've got similar language to it. Well, I'm going to show you now how we change that in the system. And we're going to do that by using an example. I'm using the preamble to the Declaration of Independence written over 200 years ago by Thomas Jefferson. It's, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So one very long singular sentence that Thomas Jefferson wrote 200 years ago. So let's reimagine that now in the voice, tone, and style of another great orator, Mr. Barack Obama. So with Barack's language, we see it's no longer one sentence, but it's actually 3 sentences. And the language that he uses definitely starts to sound more Obama-like. We come together today, united in our understanding of these undeniable truths. Yes, we can. It's got the we element of Obama in there. But if you look in it, the individual liberties, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, all of the core details are still there, but it sounds very different. So let's take this a step further. Because it is a presidential year, I'm going to avoid the major candidates that are out there, but I am going to pick someone else who has a very clear political voice, Miss Marjorie Taylor Greene. So folks, let's get real. When freedom-loving people decide to stand up against government, that's out of control. So you start to see, again, the language very different from Barack, very different from Thomas Jefferson as well. But if you look, all of the other elements are there. We're in Texas. So my final example will be a Texan who might also have some political aspirations as well. Mr. Matthew McConaughey. All right, all right, all right. Now listen to hear French. You know, there's something that's just crystal clear as a Texas sky. So my point, folks, with all of these is the underlying key content retains the same, but the voice, tone, and style are very different and changed. And you can change that as well. In fact, you can teach ChatGPT to write more like you. So in this prompt, ChatGPT, I want you to learn my writing style from the following content. And you can give it an example. Perhaps it's a cover letter that you've used before that you really like, and have it analyzed. So the output that I got was what you see here on the left. Your writing style is professional yet engaging, informative, blah, blah, blah. My head is exploding because it's so complimentary. But here's what I can do after it's done that analysis. I can say, now ChatGPT, utilize the above style to write the following. And it could be an email, it could be a cover letter, it could be a blog that's out there. Now, I don't want to do this every time I've got to write something. So how can I automate this for me? Well, there's something called custom instructions in ChatGPT. So even in the free version, you're going to go down to your settings. You're going to click that. Custom instructions are going to come up. And you're going to see these 2 boxes that are in the center. The top one says, what would you like ChatGPT to know about you? That's not super important. That just helps to understand, you know, you're a marketer, you're in job search, whatever. But the important part is the one at the bottom that says, how would you like ChatGPT to respond? So that's the voice that you want ChatGPT to write in. So you're going to cut and paste that analysis that you got, and you're going to drop that in here. Now you can turn this custom instruction on and off anytime you want. So if you wanted to write in your style, you turn it on, you do your correspondence. If you wanted to write in the normal ChatGPT language, you turn it off, and that's fine. So some other ideas that are out there, you can ask it to interview you. You give it that job description and have it create interview questions. You can ask it to interview you 1 question at a time. And if you're using the phone with the voice interaction, you can actually do it verbally. You can have it compare candidates against a job description. So for people like Walt that are on the pit crew, and they've got to see 3 pit crew candidates this week, they can start off by having it sort of draft an analysis of the candidates that are there. You can generate interview questions based on the candidate's resume and job description. So you can automate that process for you. Again, let it create the framework and then go back in and edit that. The other thing it can do is help you in onboarding talent into new roles. So guys, you guys are going to land one day and you're going to be in a new role. There's that famous book, The First 90 Days, that's out there. Well, we can get ChatGPT to help develop a plan for us for the first 90 days. So this is a long prompt here, right? So assist me in creating an onboarding plan for the first 90 days. We're going to give it information on our title. We're actually going to reference some information from the book, The First 90 Days, written by Michael Watkins, a specific section of the book, including the onboarding section that's out there. And we're going to ask it to create that onboarding plan for us, and it will do that. So the other thing I want to teach you here is ChatGPT has been trained on all of this business knowledge that's out there, not just the book, The First 90 Days, the Atomic Habits, Eat That Frog, whatever it might be that's out there. You can tap into that training in your prompt. You can reference some of that business training that is out there, whether it's a McKinsey format that might exist that you want to use for creating a presentation or a book. Chances are it's been trained on that. We're doing okay. So we're going to get to some of the advanced features of ChatGPT. The first is a tool that came out 12 months ago called Advanced Data Analysis. Now, ChatGPT is a large language model, right? It was built to handle words and language. It was not necessarily built as a computational model. So in the early days, ChatGPT was maybe doing okay with the language part, but flubbing mathematics. In fact, when it took the CPA exam, it failed it poorly. The bar, it did pass, but the CPA exam, it really struggled with. But in July of last year, they created something new, which is a tool called Advanced Data Analysis. You do not have this tool in a lot of the other platforms that are out there. And essentially, that gave us Sir Isaac Newton to complement our William Shakespeare. So it now has the ability to really do some great data analysis. You can get it to clean data for you. So if you've got files that are old where they don't match up, they've got missing column headers, or there's empty cells that are in there, you can get it to clean the data for you. You can get it to visualize any data set and even interpret key takeaways from that data, extract data from PDFs, convert files from one format to another format, turn images into videos, generate QR codes, which you'll see at the end. It works with all these different types of file formats that are out there, from text and CSV files to JavaScript and Python, log files, HTML files. So I wanted to give it a test. I wanted to see if Advanced Data Analytics could analyze a 60,000 cell data table, create 10 data visualizations, and generate a PowerPoint presentation in under 3 minutes. So what I did was I enabled data analysis. I created and attached this Excel sheet here, which is 100 years of movie data. I wanted to keep it fun and light for us here. And so that's what it's going to analyze, 60,000 cells within that. And here's what it did. So you see what it's doing there. It's actually writing Python code to analyze those charts, and it's starting to figure out what is in this that is interesting. And it's giving us feedback on not only creating the charts, but what is the information in there. So now when it's done that, I'm asking it to create a PowerPoint presentation. At the end, it gives me this link that I can click, and I have the PowerPoint slides for all of the data visualization that it has done. So could I have created these slides on my own? Absolutely. Would it have taken me 3 or 4 hours to build all my pivot tables out and do my data visualization? Absolutely, it would have. And I just gave it a simple prompt and said, go crazy, create 10 interesting data visualizations. But if you know what you want to get out of the system, it's going to be even more powerful for you. So how is the technology evolving? So first of all, it's becoming more multimodal. And what I mean by that is initially ChatGPT was text in and you got text out. Now it's not only text in, but it's image in, text out, or text in, image out, or video out. So it is starting to go beyond words to having all of these capabilities. And you're going to be seeing with some of these updates where it's able to not only see and listen and become much more interactive for us. Custom GPTs, I mentioned, the ability to be able to go in and create and train GPTs to do something specific on your specific data. For instance, I have a 16-year-old daughter who's learning how to drive. I created a custom GPT trained on the Texas driver's license handbook so that she has it on her phone and she can just ask it, you know, when do I need to turn on my turn signal? And it says 100 feet before you start turning, or what do I do at a four-way stop? And it's trained on specific data rather than letting it guess on all of that pre-trained information that's out there. ChatGPT can now see as well. So you can upload that picture. Yeah, what can you do when you upload a picture? Well, here's an example where I gave it a photo of a bicycle and I tried not to make it obvious. In fact, I gave it something that was a little abstract to see if ChatGPT could recognize that. Indeed, it did. It identifies that it's a bicycle and that it's a bicycle that's broken and in pretty bad shape. Dilapidated, right? So, but now I can take this a step further. Now it's identified. I can actually go in and I can ask GPT, how can I repair this bicycle? And it's going to give me step-by-step guide. It's going to tell me the tools that I'm going to need, the process, the parts that I'm probably going to need to order for that as well. So you're like, okay, I'm not fixing a lot of bicycles out there in my world, but maybe you're doing a lot of this, right? You're brainstorming in a boardroom. People are writing things on a whiteboard, scribbling, and afterwards somebody's assistant is coming in and trying to decipher all the notes. Now you can take a picture, give it to ChatGPT, and it's going to process all of that information for you. It's going to distill it, tell you, and understand the relationship of the information that is in there. Text to video, some of you may have seen some of this starting to happen. We're in an election year, so there's lots of concerns about things like deep fakes. But this is going to be for creatives like myself, you know, a great tool. Things that used to take me 6 weeks to plan and shoot, and tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in creative campaigns, we're going to be able to do in, you know, 20 minutes. And so it's getting to the point where it's very difficult to tell that this was completely generated by AI. It's still in alpha testing. OpenAI has not formally released it yet. The GPT store, I mentioned this earlier. This is where even with the free version, you can go and take a look to see if there's something that is specific for you. It looks a lot like a normal app store out there. It's got a search bar at the top, so you can go in and drop something like ATS, Applicant Tracking System, and it's going to pull up any custom GPTs that have been created to help you maybe navigate resumes, ATS systems, etc. And there's a lot more. It's not just job search stuff that's in there, right? You can find everything from Travelocity and how to book your travel and find travel to, you know, creating your own logos and things like that. One of the ones that I like as a job seeker is that it taps right into some government data that's out there. So there's one called the US Bureau of Labor Statistics. Those of you who follow me on LinkedIn know that I've done a couple of posts on this one. But one thing that I like is being able to go in and ask it to list the different roles for your functional area. So for instance, give me all the roles that you track for HR that are listed in your database and tell me about them in a one-sentence summary. So we see all of the ways that the Department of Labor tracks HR functions. And now what I can do is a second prompt to say, extract the median annual salary by industry sector. And that's where you're going to insert that specific role in our metro area. So you can go in and look at DFW and you can understand an HR generalist in IT versus in consumer packaged goods versus in a government job, how much they make. And it's going to give you an output like this. You can also ask it to give you the 75th percentile salary and the 90th percentile. So you can start to understand what are those upper limits to salaries up there. As always, check your sources. So folks, we're at that point where you can download all of the prompts. You can use your phone and this QR code. You'll go there, you'll see a little button that says something like prompt template, and you can click on that and it will give you all of the prompts that I've covered in today's session. So I'm going to leave that up, and we have just enough time for some questions if anyone has any. Yes.
Well done.
Oh, I'm sorry, we need microphones here so that our
I had a brain beat.
audience at
Even
home.
Do not. Prompts. Does that turn on the generative part?
That's a very good question. It is, shall I say, an added reinforcement that tells it better not be making stuff up for me. If I left it off, it might make something up. If I add it, what it would probably come back, and if it couldn't find it, it would say, I'm sorry, I can't find that information. Yep. Yes.
Thank you for your presentation. Excellent information.
Thank you.
And I think I'm a pretty good user of the ChatGPT.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I learned something here. I wanted to go back to your example of onboarding.
Yeah.
Michael Watkins' book is about a 200-page book. It's giving multiple examples of different types of strategies for onboarding. What did you put it in the chat that will provide an onboarding strategy for a particular role that could be various different types of?
Well, there is a specific section in that book that focuses specifically on onboarding. And so those are the chapters that I had it reference in there. So if you go in, it talks about the different stakeholder meetings that are involved with it. So it is starting to integrate and helping you to identify, okay, these are the different cross-functional departments that I'm going to need to meet with. What is going to be the right? Exactly. But then it also goes into, beyond the fact finding, into, how do you start in month 2, putting together some of your strategic observations? Who are you going to need to meet with to do that? Ms. Jama, yes.
Rusty, so where does Perplexity and Jasper AI, which Terry Sullivan likes to talk about, where does that fit on the scale?
So I'm not an expert on Jasper. I've helped Terry sometimes with getting the content and the voice that he wants out of it. I know Terry went to utilizing Jasper because it was much better at creating long format blogs. He was looking to generate things that were over 3,000 words. And especially a year ago with ChatGPT or any of the platforms, it was a real struggle to get them to write more than 700 words at a time. So I showed him, first of all, how you can do that in ChatGPT, because if you ever needed to write large amounts of information, one of the things you can do is chunk it up. So you start by having it create an overview or a template, an outline, and then you go into the individual parts and have it write out those parts for you, and then you combine it at the end. So that's Jasper. Jasper is great for writing long format content. It utilizes, I believe, the GPT 3.5 transformer. So I think it's using an older model that's out there, but it with its own machine language, it's able to write longer format. Perplexity is kind of like the fact checker gatekeeper that is out there. So a lot of people like that, especially for academic and for research, is my understanding. It doesn't have all the other bells and whistles that we see with ChatGPT, but if you want to know your source data, it lists everything for you automatically.
Rusty, thank you for excellent presentation. One question I have, and this comes from a data warehouse model. So I was thinking about it when you were talking about how ChatGPT goes and fetches data. So my question is, when we are designing these large-scale LLMs, large-scale models, where is it tapping its data from? Because I remember there was an investigation open a few months ago that Wall Street Journal had an article where the government was trying to see how was OpenAI was trying to get that data. So
yeah,
I don't know where that went, but
that's Pandora's box, right? So there's I could spend probably 20 minutes talking about that discussion. So There's a lot of questions about the model. What is the source data, especially as we're getting into a lot of these multimodal functionalities that are out there? Are they being trained on, YouTube videos and that type of content? There are a lot of underlying lawsuits that are out there. Interestingly, thus far, OpenAI has been doing okay in defending their position in a lot of these lawsuits. But there's also the bigger question of what is the right data to train these models on. So we know there's a lot of bias that's out there in the internet, and we want to make sure that they don't get trained on the wrong things. The other thing that's starting to happen is that they're generating their own information. So it's not just that original source data that came from humans. It's now information that's being created by the models. And there's a concern that we might reach a threshold where they have something called platform collapse, where the models have been trained on their own data and the data is not accurate. And the model basically doesn't function as accurately as it had at one point originally. I'm not sure I'm answering all of your questions, but it's kind of a philosophical and moral question that I'll leave to the politicians.
And a second follow-up question.
Yeah.
In security perspective, I'm a company which has a large, say I'm 18.
Right.
I have a large data warehouse of data, which has customer data, the sensitive personal information, SPI. Is there a block or preventative measure out there which you know of?
Yes. So in August of last year, OpenAI announced that they were offering an enterprise system which put everything behind your company's own firewall. So anything that you were utilizing and interacting with the training or with the platform on was behind your firewall. The model would not be trained on that data at all. I believe Copilot has a similar system. As Apple is moving more towards integrating AI into their systems and their email, et cetera, I know that they've put a lot of security in place. That being said, it's a dangerous world out there. And, I think cyber is going to be a big factor with AI going forward. Yes, sir.
Kind of a follow-up question to that. In terms of just using it for fun or for stuff like this, not having the enterprise system, if we're doing stuff like inserting our resumes and everything to that, do you know if like having our personal information on the resumes, does that get fed up into the process of learning and everything that we'll send in?
So here's how ChatGPT describes their process. First of all, they do something called depersonalization. So the information that they gather, they take it away from you specifically. So it's not necessarily associated with Rusty Wright. It's depersonalized and aggregated. They then say it's a little bit like when you read a book. So imagine you're reading War and Peace. You read 1,000 pages of the book, you put it on the shelf. You're not remembering every word that's in War and Peace, but maybe you're remembering the big picture ideas. And so that's what they say is happening with the tool, is that it is learning the big picture concepts, the big picture ideas versus minutia that is in there personalized about you, and you. So that's the way OpenAI explains it right now. If you're concerned about that, I would say use the same security precautions that you would use with anything on the internet. Most of us are uploading resumes to, LinkedIn or Indeed or Workday or some of these other systems. I'm not sure that OpenAI is any less trustful for them. They are not selling the data to anyone. They do have third-party suppliers that they work with to help improve their system, but they're not like selling it for advertising or anything like that.
Yeah,
Yes.
I had a question.
Yeah.
And it kind of piggybacks on the last one, just out of curiosity. So a lot of the stuff is free. I mean, how does OpenAI make money? I mean,
Yeah, I'm not privy to what their business model is. Obviously, they've got Microsoft backing them 49% right now. I don't know where their subscribers are in terms of usage and their enterprise systems right now, but they also charge for people that are using the API. So beyond just going to the ChatGPT server, you can connect your company system through the OpenAI API, and there is a charge every time that you're doing that, which maybe more than $20 a month. It may be $4,000 a month if everyone in your company is utilizing that. So I don't know the finances. They're a private company. Sorry, I can't answer that.
Hold on. We need the mic, but a couple online. First of all, you're getting a lot of love online.
Oh, thank you.
So, everyone is very appreciative. Somebody wanted to know the name of the book that you referred to.
The first 90 days.
The first 90 days.
Yeah.
Michael Watkins.
Michael Watkins, yeah.
Is that it? I have one. When it comes to task, persona, and everything, does it matter in what order you put those in, or are they like a Starbucks barista and you can say venti decaf?
There is a little bit of an argument and debate out there that ChatGPT is better at remembering things towards the beginning and towards the end, and sometimes things that are in the middle of a prompt will get lost a little bit. I'm not sure that I've proved that out, mathematically. Sometimes I start off with persona, and a lot of the experts that I see that are out there start off with persona. But I think at the end, you got to make sure your task is clear. I will say sometimes I've put format in there and not gotten exactly the format that I wanted out of it, but I don't know whether that had to do with the placement or the length of my prompt.
Okay, so piggyback on the gentleman who mentioned a question earlier, to do with security. So when I am doing any of my work on my computer, my system, including my resume, what have you, that information, does it stay on my computer or does it go so that it can be used by?
So you have a choice. So it is going to the server. It is going to the server. Whether the server gets trained on that information is your choice in the settings. You can leave it on or you can turn it off. Along with your prompt history, you can also turn that off so that it's not keeping any record of what you've done.
And if I keep it, it can be used, but if I say it, I can still keep it and will not say my hearing.
So if you turn off sharing of the information, it will still be sent to the server, but it will not be saved and used for training. Yes.
Can I ask a question about the proprietary use of ChatGPT inside an enterprise? So using the tool and either using the open data model it has or training it specifically for that particular enterprise, such that the data that you supply to it, such as code perhaps that might be proprietary or any other ideas that are proprietary, are kept within an enterprise sort of firewall, but you're still using the power of a ChatGPT. Maybe it's not ChatGPT, it's an LLM model or whatever. Any comments on that?
Yeah, I'm afraid I don't have the statistics of, what enterprise adoption of the GPT enterprise system looks like right now to understand who's doing that. I'm seeing a lot more companies take a more cautious approach in using Copilot, which provides a little bit of LLM functionality, but within the Microsoft 365 environment, getting PowerPoint to do X, Y, and Z, getting Excel to do X, Y, and Z for you. But yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have enough information, I think, to give you a good answer on that. Anything else, Matt?
Steve Sullivan wanted to know if the custom output or voice is available in a free version.
No. So the voice for
Steve, are you talking about output or voice input?
Yeah, I'm talking about the output when you train the output on your tone and your voice.
Yes, it's available on free.
So, but you have to have the desktop version, right?
Desktop version to go into your custom instructions.
Okay, that's what it is. I need the desktop.
Don't quote me, Steve, because I don't think I've tried to go into custom instructions on the app. It may be possible, but definitely through the desktop version you can.
Okay.
So I showed you earlier in the slide, you go to settings, you go to custom instructions, and then you paste in the analysis of your writing style.
I'm curious to know what you think about this like statement. I'm some areas of AI. I think AI right now, is it possible that AI is kind of like a fad? Maybe in certain areas it's super applicable and it's definitely going to stay for a long time and will be used. But in other areas, companies, like you said, 67% of enterprises are using it now. Do you think that there's any merit to the statement that AI is a fad and companies are just using it because, oh, like everyone's using it now, we have to like find some way to incorporate it? Maybe a combination of both. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think there is a lot of hype that has happened over the last 2 years. I still see both at the individual level and the company level when I'm talking to companies that they're still trying to figure out where to focus with it, how to apply it. Most of them are starting narrowly with a couple departments, a couple of areas to apply it there where they feel the most comfortable, rather than just like giving everybody free rein in the company to, utilize it. So I think it will die down? Yes, I do think it will die down. Do I think the technology is going to continue to raise productivity out there? Yeah, absolutely. As companies start to figure out how we're going to, adapt this and integrate this, I still see huge possibilities and upside. So I'm an optimist.
Does ChatGPT have a desktop version?
They do for Apple. So if you go to the OpenAI website,
So Mac OS.
Mac OS, yes, you can download one that will sit on your desktop and can essentially stay open at all times on your Mac desktop. Use it at your peril. I've had a hard time turning it off sometimes. Yeah.
Anything else?
So the desktop version is only for Apple, not for.
Correct.
Gotcha. That's.
Any more questions? Anybody online?
Okay. For those of you who would like to connect with me on LinkedIn, I'm also on job search, by the way. I like to say I'm a global marketer who doesn't just follow trends, I make them. And I'm looking in CPG and beauty, much like my friend Nicole Parks, who was on the call earlier today. So thank you. If you do connect with me, please include a note to where we met. I get a lot of emails from salespeople these days, and if they haven't indicated who they are and how they met me, they get deleted immediately. So just mention that you met me at North Texas Plano Career Focus Group. Anyway,
Rusty,
thanks.
sorry, do you know why they don't have a version for Windows? Is that just policy, or is there a specific reason why Windows desktop doesn't exist?
I don't know for certain. That might just be because of Microsoft being, 49% ownership and them having their own tool, Copilot. So I suspect that there might be a little bit of politics, but that's just my guess. Alrighty.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Rusty. That was fantastic. I think he deserves a second round of applause. All right.
To record, since COVID, we've had 50 people for this participants today. And I think it has to do with our speaker.
Yeah.
I think you're right. All right. Reminder to go to careerdfw.org. That was created by Jeff, as we talked about earlier. Great set of resources for job seekers out there, and a calendar. Make sure you click on the calendar. I go there every Sunday night, and I look at everything that's coming up for the week, and I pick and choose what I'm going to do every day. It's fantastic. That's what it looks like. You need to click on the event, and it'll open up and it'll tell you the date and the time and the location, as well as a Zoom link if it's applicable. Also a reminder, you can go to YouTube and search for Career USA or go to youtube.com/Career USA. And you can see all the videos for the last umpteen years that Jeff has uploaded. And we will be uploading today's presentation courtesy of Rusty. Thank you very much for letting us record today or tomorrow. Okay. I will include a link in the usual follow-up email directly to that video. All right. Tuesday, for LinkedIn Tuesday, this week is Kurt Vandemotter talking about LinkedIn from a recruiter's eyes. There's the handsome fellow. On Wednesday, a reminder, practice interview team. Are we online this week
Yes.
or next week? Okay, so next Wednesday, online only. Do not come here. And then next Friday we'll get to that in a second. We had advertised last week that there was a job fair here at Christ United Methodist Church. It has since been canceled. So do not show up on September 21st. And next week and the week after, yours truly will be providing technology tips and tricks for job seekers. This is a hands-on workshop. So bring a fully charged laptop and your smartphone. We'll set up some tables, throw out some power, and so you can follow along. We'll show you how to save some money on your tech, how to better use Windows, Chrome, Microsoft Office. And I got about, it's probably 10 slides now of hyperlinks that I've collected in my job search for all kinds of things. So come see us. Please subscribe to our groups. This is how we send out the weekly update for Career DFW. We also send out job leads, search tips, and networking meeting announcements. There are two groups. The first one is North Dallas Plano CFG at groups.io. Add the plus subscribe. And for the Career USA, same deal. Career USA plus subscribe at groups.io. This instructions will be included in the follow-up. Please make sure I have a legible email address on the sign-in sheet so you get a copy. And a reminder, not eating that. We're going to Country Burger after this meeting for more networking. It's a great time. Please join us. And thank you for joining us today. William, do you have a question?
Yeah, so does this mean that the open forum's now gonna be the second Tuesday of September for that month?
We're just going to skip a month.
Oh, skip, okay.
Yep.
And also one more thing, I need the mic. One more thing before we go. That would good.
So I also have one more thing before we go, everybody that's looking for technology roles, I hope you'll put this on your calendar. You got the ABTP is having a happy hour this coming Tuesday from 6 to 8. It is at the BJ's Restaurant and Brew House in Addison. So if you're looking for tech roles, make sure you're there, because you never know where you could find someone that may know someone at one of your target companies, or even just anything along those lines. Great time to network. You can go to abtpdfw.org to sign up.
Thank you, William. Appreciate that. I'll probably be there. All right. Thanks for joining us. You have a good weekend.
Anybody going to lunch? Count one. Leave your hand up so I can count. Oh, hand above your two hands.
Hey, Matt, it's Rosina.
Hey, Rosina.
What were the letters that the gentleman said? Is it A as in apple, B as in?
William, ABT. ABTP DFW.org.
abtpdfw.org. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Got it?
Yes, sir.
Sure. Saving chat.
I will, please. Yeah, so what's something not just thanks, well, I'm still, yeah, the part of that, but it's kind of, it's conditioned. It's like, it does.